Welcome to episode 5 of our third series on the historic families of Appalachia and the American South. Today's families will take us back to England, France, Ireland, Scotland, and Switzerland. If you're new to the channel, I mix in a bit of history, genealogy, and trivia along with the origin and meaning of requested surnames, families that is. And today we'll be looking at 3 such families, with 2 being nationally and even internationally significant. My main goal is to identify families that have been in Appalachia and the southern United States since before the Civil War. In most cases, they date back to colonial times, which is certainly the case today. This series is dedicated to the memories of those who gave us life and freedom. Now, if you'd like a free copy of the surname catalog that lists the names and episodes that have been covered thus far, stick around to the end to find out how you can get one. It's just an email away. Promises to be a good show, so hope you'll join me. Number 1, Almonds, or Almond. In producing the 3 series on surnames and early families, I've been honored to meet many people who love and respect their families. With that said, though, I realize that many of us were born into clans that provided very little nurturing and support. What's often hard for us to accept or believe is that there were generations before our present families that would have loved us unconditionally. It's to them that this series seeks to provide honor. No doubt the first 2 families that we will discuss today are cherished by the person who requested them. He's a regular viewer of the channel and goes by the handle of Papa. When I first read his request for the name Almonds, I immediately suspected the name to be an Americanized form of the Swiss-German family known as Almond. The S at the end indicated the son of Armand. I think you're going to find out more about this in just a second, though. I almost jumped ahead of myself. This historically significant family includes a fellow named Jacob Almond, who was born in Bern Canton, that is, of Switzerland in 1644. He died somewhere between 1712 and 1730. Despite the dubious nature of his death date, in his lifetime he left a lasting legacy. He was instrumental in forging a Christian movement which has based its name on his. You've no doubt heard of them. They are the Amish. The surname Almond meant retinue man, retainer. Now that's not a commonly used description of an occupation today, so what did it mean? Well, it was given to a man who was a member of a group of people, a retinue, who served a high-ranking person or an official, most likely a royal. One of the earliest families named Almonds in the South was Johann George Almond and his wife Rosina Barbara Kummerlin. They had a son named Joshua Almonds who was born in Brunswick, Virginia in 1756. Later, in 1787, he married Elizabeth Parker in Robson County, North Carolina. They had at least 1 son and 1 daughter. Now it looks like Joshua later married a woman named Frances, and together they had a daughter named Frances, a daughter named Levica, and Joshua Jr. John Thomas Almonds was also born in Virginia a little earlier than Joshua. He greeted the world in 1748. He and his wife, Bertha, had 1 son born in Appalachia's Buncombe County, North Carolina. Their other children were born in Marlborough and Fairfield counties in South Carolina. Clearly, our Papa's Almonds folk were antebellum of Swiss-German derivation. Please note that my own personal Papa would be 119 years old if he were still alive, and there isn't a day goes by that I don't think about him. Number 2, Breedlove. Although this surname is not particularly common, even in its homeland, I did find one source that gave it an English origin. Now, please don't think that I've been watching pornography when I tell you what the Dictionary of American Family Names says of its meaning. It was given to an amiable person who loved to breed. Yes, that's right, loved to breed. Anyway, I found a number of people named Breedlove who lived in the 1800s in places scattered from Virginia and the Carolinas to Missouri through Georgia and Alabama all the way to Texas. The earliest Breedlove folk that I could find lived in the long and narrow King and Queen County and its neighboring county, Essex County in Virginia. Charles Breedlove was born in Essex County in 1688. One online source makes the claim that his branch was related to James Madison, the 4th President of the United States. I've not confirmed that connection, but it's out there if you want to investigate it, if you're interested. At any rate, Charles and Mary Parr, his wife, had 7 sons and 3 daughters. I'm confident that the Breedlove family is antebellum and of English origin. Number 3, Crockett. Now, unless you've spent your life in another country, never spent time in Tennessee or Texas, or never watched a Disney movie from the 1950s, you have probably heard of David, aka Davy Crockett. Born in 1786, died in 1836. Crockett was born in Greene County in East Tennessee before Tennessee was a state. He was a frontiersman who served under Andrew Jackson in the War of 1812. He was elected to the Tennessee General Assembly, where he served from 1821 to 1825. He took something of a national reputation, or he took on something of a national reputation as a folksy frontiersman while serving in the United States House of Representatives from 1827 to 1831. Now, popular culture has labeled him the king of the wild frontier. In that regard, his reputation came to rival the legacy of Daniel Boone. In his lifetime, though, he went by David Crockett, not the familiar Davy Crockett. Being born in East Tennessee, he was surrounded by other families who had immigrated from the north of Ireland and an ancient province known as Ulster. You've heard me mention Ulster quite a bit if you've been watching the show. The Crockett family in Ulster, however, were of French Huguenot extraction. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this one here, folks. And I studied French for several years, but I'm not going to attempt that one. Anyway, he was born in the south of France. He changed his surname to Crockett when he relocated to Ulster. Now, there's at least one online source that says that this is an alleged origin story, as if they were native Irish or something else, which is dubious to me. In a historical context, French Huguenots were in fact persecuted in Catholic France when the Edict of Nantes was revoked in 1685. A fair number of them fled to Wales, England, and Ulster, including my mother's paternal line, Voya. I can't even say it the way the French do, but it's Voiles, basically, in American English. At any rate, Joseph Lewis Crockett was born in Ireland. He married into the Ulster Scots community by getting hitched to Sarah Gilbert Stewart, born in 1680, died in 1776. The family moved to Frederick County, Virginia in the 1750s, where John Crockett was born. Around 1768, the family moved to North Carolina and then to Tennessee in 1776. John Crockett was a member of the Over Mountain Men and fought in the American Revolution. John also advocated for the breakaway region from North Carolina, the would-be state of Franklin, named after Benjamin Franklin, or would have been named after Benjamin Franklin. Sadly, Davy's grandparents were killed by Cherokee and Creek warriors at Rogersville, Tennessee in 1777. Davy's uncle was held captive by the Cherokee for about 17 years. Now, talking about grace, and despite those negative encounters with Native Americans, Davy Crockett forfeited his political career in Tennessee by going against Andrew Jackson and the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which led to the Trail of Tears. Davy joined other volunteers from Tennessee to help Texas win its independence from Mexico. He was killed at the Alamo in March 1836. Now, if you've never been to the Alamo, you ought to go there sometime. To be honest with you, I was surprised that it was so small, but I really loved the Riverwalk down there in San Antonio. It's awesome. If you get a chance to go there, you ought to go. At the end of the day, Crockett is an antebellum family of French Huguenot and Scots-Irish origin. Well, that's about all I have for you today, folks. I hope you got something meaningful out of the discussion and will join me again here on The Vantage Point. If you'd like a free copy of the list of names and families that we've covered thus far, write to me at vantagepoint22@gmail.com and I'll send it to you ASAP. Until we meet again, God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.